25. That's what we need today. 25 new subscribers. Yeah, we took 2 months off doing shows. Not a ton going on, but was I protesting the perceived lack of subscribers we were getting in March into April? Not saying it was, not saying it wasn't, but I'm going to keep this thing rolling. We've got to keep up with the subscriber number, 26,592. So what? 408 away from 27,000. Please subscribe today. 25 is the number that we should be doing at least every single video. If you subscribe and you like it, take that video at the bottom of the screen. It's down in the comments in the description as well. Send it to a friend. Send it to your buddies. Send it to the Michigan football text chain you've got going on during the season. Tell them to subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate all of you who's been with us from the start. 26,592 of you. First question here on our Michigan football mailbag coming from Bill Graves. He says, I'm not sure I like getting rid of divisions. What do you think? Also, do you think Amari Walker, will still start a cornerback or someone else? Hashtag Bosa, hashtag Daddy. Let's take a look at Michigan's schedule, right, in 2024. Not sure if you guys saw it. Came out, what was that, a week and a half ago? Last week, Jack? Was it Thursday? I can't remember. Michigan's got 8 home games in 2024, 3 that are etched in stone: Fresno State, Texas, Arkansas State to start the year. Then Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, UCLA, part of the Big Ten in 2024, and then Wisconsin. Only 4 away games, but they are a couple doozies there. Illinois, Rutgers, USC, and what order those will be in, we're still uncertain. And then at Ohio State to end the 2024 season before Michigan goes for their 4th straight Big Ten championship, clearly the week after that. Now, Michigan's not going to have a Big Ten with divisions starting in 2024. Ask you guys the questions. Which do you like better? Divisions like it is now, or do you like this Wild Wild West? Best 2 teams win. You can end up playing a team multiple times. Let me know down in the comments. I'll give my answer here in a moment. Type D if you like divisions, basically how it is now. Maybe toss UCLA, USC in one separate division, or same, and then move a team over. Or do you like this 16-team, best 2 teams rise to the top, no divisions, even if it means teams can play each other twice? Let me know down in the comments, D or N. The reason we bring this up, and why I like the question, is because I haven't had a chance to talk about this with you guys, is there's a good chance it would have happened the last 2 years, right? Michigan, Ohio State would have played and then played a week later, again, same game. And the first one, in a lot of ways, might not have had a ton of, I guess, really any insight into what happens to the Big Ten. Like, let's say last year, both those teams went number 2 and number 3 in the country. Michigan blows out Ohio State at Ohio State. What happens if Michigan's not getting up for it the next week? They go to Indianapolis to play Ohio State again, and the Buckeyes get the win. Did that, take away from what happened just the week prior? That's a concern. Now, I don't think it's going to happen every year. Clearly, last 20 years, it would only happen a handful of times. But I think it does take away some of that greatness of the game, the number 1 rivalry in all of sports. And so I'm going to go divisions. But, I think I'm in the minority on this one. But let me know what you guys think. I said D for divisions or N for no divisions. All right, one other part of that question, asking about Amari Walker at cornerback. I haven't got a chance to also talk about Josh Wallace. Coming over as a 3-year starter from UMass, has 1 year of eligibility left, just came over in the transfer portal a few weeks ago. Now, upside, heck of a playmaker, 2-year captain for UMass. Downside, you know who his head coach was last year? It was Don Brown. No, not more Don Brown. Josh Wallace is going to be giving up 75-yard touchdown passes to Ohio State because he was trained by Don Brown. So Wallace is going to add some depth. I'm guessing he's going to compete for the starting role, but that's going to be shaken out coming up in the early August when Michigan has fall camp. Josh Wallace, coming over from UMass, definitely has potential to be a starter this season. A-Train 132, he says, Yoder, this upcoming season, are you going to take a shot of whiskey every time that Michigan scores? I'm going to ponder that one for a second. Before we do, let's dive into today's sponsor. Today's Michigan Football Report is sponsored by NordVPN. Protect your digital world and get 63% off NordVPN's 2-year plan. NordVPN is striving to make the internet better than it is today. It can be free from online threats, censorship, and surveillance. Get your online security package now by visiting nordvpn.com/Michigan Football CS. Get 4 months free by using that link in the description and the comments section when you purchase the NordVPN 2-year plan. Let me tell you about some of the features you're going to get with a NordVPN package. How about online protection with a single click? never miss your favorite content. A little story about me: was out of the country a couple months ago, was trying to watch one of my favorite shows on a streaming service, said, no, you're out of our area jurisdiction. Boom, one click, I am back within the jurisdiction. You can stay safe from malware, and NordVPN is the fastest VPN on the planet. All this is simple as a click. Choose your location and click connect. NordVPN won't track you or share what you do online. Your data is always protected by next generation encryption. Get started now. Click the link in the description or the comments. That's nordvpn.com/Michigan Football CS to get 4 months free of NordVPN. nordvpn.com/Michigan Football CS. 4 months for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go down in the comments, the description to click on that link. I know some of you guys need NordVPN. I've seen some of you guys that watch the show. I've gone to your Twitter account, seen your likes. You need to be surfing the internet privately, if you know what I'm saying. So, A-Train question: will you be taking a shot of whiskey every time they score? Well, if you watched the video yesterday, we're considering doing watch parties. If so, Jack, I probably have to do a whiskey. Like, what else do I do on camera for 4 hours by myself? And with you, I probably just have to take a shot of whiskey. But if not, interesting. I've never really done anything. Sometimes I'll just, fist pump the air for 10 minutes, 10 seconds, whatever, 30 seconds. But, this is an interesting season for Michigan. I'm pondering doing watch parties, pondering doing a live post-game show instead of just doing a live on-demand. I'm not sure. I'm pondering a lot of things, but I do think this is going to be a big-time season for Michigan. It's one of the one I'm looking forward to more than, frankly, any I can remember in recent years. Probably Jim Harbaugh's first year was the one maybe that I was probably looking forward to more than this one, just because of the excitement of this new big-time NFL coach. So a lot of things to consider. We're going to come up with a game plan that's going to be absolutely second to none all of the 2023 season into the offseason, national championship game into February recruiting here on the show. But since we got asked about taking a shot of whiskey, let me know what you guys think. What's your favorite brand of alcohol? Let's stick to hard alcohol. If you drink hard alcohol, if that's your choice, which you should. I do, of course. Kidding. Not kidding in that I do, but that you should. I'm not recommending it. Let me know what your favorite brand of alcohol is. I like a Jack and Diet. There, I also like Scotch on the rocks. Shiny Black is kind of a go-to on there. But let me know what you guys' favorite brand of alcohol. Don't give me beer. Don't give me any wine. Favorite brand of alcohol. All right, my guy John Blaze, our Super Chat MVP, our number one stunner of this show. He says, welcome back, Yoder. Thank you, John. Appreciate to have you. Will our offensive defense rank in the top 10 at the end of the year? Who will be the players to watch on both sides of the ball? Is anyone on Heisman watch? This is our year, Yoder. You need to do a tailgating party at the Big House. That last one I doubt is going to happen just because the love we have for doing the show and analyzing Michigan football. But I like that first one. He says, the defense and offense both ranking in the top 10. Take a look at the stats last year. And it's interesting because I put out this Twitter poll on Twitter about 2 weeks ago. I said, which unit has more likely chance of being a top 10 scoring offense this season? Michigan, our scoring team this season, the offense, the defense. And I was surprised. I figured that even though Michigan fans love the offense, they just kind of, jaded by Michigan kind of being, I guess, conservative on offense basically forever. Michigan's offense actually was higher ranked than the defense last year. Number 6 scoring offense in all college football. Number 7 for the defense. So the answer I'll give to you, John Blaze, is I think both will be top 10. I think both have a really good chance of being top 5. Who will be the players watching both sides of the ball? I think that's an obvious one in a lot of ways. And there's anyone on Heisman watch. I think Michigan's got at least 3 players. Hell, maybe even more, but certainly Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, and J.J. McCarthy are players to potentially be on the Heisman list. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 3 guys was a Heisman finalist, although I would think that Blake Corum, just because of his body of work over the last couple seasons, is the most likely one. Hey, players to watch on both sides of the ball. Certainly is not a name that's surprising here, but Colson Loveland, I think he gave a breakout year as a sophomore on offense. And then defense, how about Ernest Hausman coming over from Nebraska? He could end up being Big Ten Player of the Year for all I know, but I love his film from Nebraska. I don't actually think he's going to start off the year starting, but I think by 3-4 games in, he's going to have himself a role where he's on the field basically the entire game. Let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite play from last season, from the 2022 season? Hard to narrow down to one for me. I've got 4 that are my favorite 4 plays. The tie for number 1 is 3 plays, all from Donovan Edwards. It's 75 yards, 85 yards against Ohio State. Then tie for number 1 is that, I'll say those are tied for number 1. Then number 3 then is the Donovan Edwards touchdown run against Purdue, where he broke off like 16 tackles, it felt like, for like a 25-plus yard touchdown run where he was just bulldozing straight up the middle, got hit left, right, left, right into the end zone. And then how about Colston Loveland? Over-the-shoulder catch, doing a little up-and-out route. J.J. McCarthy steps up in the pocket with a rush coming in from the outside, hits him in stride for the touchdown. When Ohio State was up, Michigan comes out at the half and just basically says, hey, we've taken your punches, Ohio State, but we're going to punch right back. That set the tone. After that play, I mean, remember, Ohio State only scored 3 points in the second half against Michigan last year, and I think that play, if it wasn't for that play, maybe the ball game turns out to be a little bit differently, but Michigan came down and scored a touchdown 4 or 5 minutes into the third quarter, and that was really all she wrote at the end of the day for that game. Coming from our Facebook page, it is facebook.com/Harbaugh Go Blue. I'll put the link to that down in the comments. You guys should follow us. 70,000 Michigan football fans strong. The one question that ultimately matters, do we have enough star power and depth to win the national title? This is an easy one for me. Star power, absolutely. Now, Michigan has lost a few players. RJ Moten, he transferred out to Florida, right? He was a starting safety last year, first 5-6 games of the year. He transferred out. Michigan had a wide receiver transfer out whose name is escaping me at the moment. I'm just flaking here. Eric All, of course, transferred to Iowa. Cade McNamara, from a depth perspective, transferred to Iowa as well. But I think from a depth, looking at Michigan's depth chart, I think the second-team defense is a top 25 defense for Michigan. Now, you've lost a couple players, a couple transfers, so maybe not as deep as we once thought it might be. And then on the other side of the ball, wide receiver is the only position. Who's that? A.J. Henning. Yeah, I'm just going to escape my name. Jack is with me. That's why he's the best in the biz. A.J. Henning transferred out of Michigan as well, but he never really made much of an impact for him as a wide receiver. He was always doing reverses and slot guy and stuff like that. Wide receiver is the position that Michigan really is not starring with two guys of the two deep. So star power, J.J. McCarthy. What more can be said? Diamond Edwards, Blake Corum, Colston Loveland, Cornelius Johnson, Roman Wilson. I mean, let's see how those guys emerge the last 4 or 5 games of the season. Defense, stars everywhere. You have the best defensive player in college football in Will Johnson. Absolutely stacked defensive line. Mason Graham and many others. Junior Colston. This team has star power. This team has depth. So they should make it to the national championship game. I believe that is the minimum that this team should be expecting. But if you think about going back in time, let's just kind of say the last 25 years or so, right? Coming off the national championship in 97, Michigan lost a ton. And no one was expecting Michigan to repeat as national champions. And hell, they went into that season in 98, lost their first 2 games, out of conference games, to Notre Dame and Syracuse. I think back 2004. Right? You're breaking in a new quarterback, but you had All-American level Braylon Edwards. You had, of course, on the defense, you had Ernest Shazer and Marlon Jackson, and had tons of players coming off that 2003 Big Ten championship game. That was a stacked team. That team started the top 4, top 3 in the country. 2007 didn't turn out what we hoped to, and so that's the funny thing about these 2 seasons is 2004 came back pretty stacked and pretty good. 2007, right? Michigan was a top 5 team coming back to that year. Chad Henne, Mike Hart, Adrian Arrington, Mario Manningham, Jake Long. The defense lost a few guys, lost Lamar Woodley, etc. Still had Sean Crable and others in that defense. Lost their first game of the year to App State, then got blown out by Oregon. So tough run of it for a couple of that 2017. But those are the only ones that can make a case for me against 2023 as far as star-studded teams coming into a season. Next question from Wit23. What do you think the number 1 wide receiver? Who do you think the number 1 wide receiver is going into next year? I think he means 2023. I don't think he means next year, although he could. I could speculate on that a little bit. But let's take a look at the returning production from the wide receiver and tight end group. Top 3 receivers coming back from yards are these 3 players. Cornelius Johnson, 32 catches, 499 yards. Roman Wilson, 25, 376. 6 touchdowns for Johnson. 4 from Wilson. Ronnie Bell, he's gone, so you got to replace him. Colston Loveland came on towards the end of the year. Remember, for the majority of the season, Colston Loveland was your number 3 tight end, really maybe number 2 after Eric All got hurt and didn't come back. 16 catches, 235, and 2 touchdowns, 1 against Ohio State and then 1 against Purdue. Diamond Edwards also in that fray, had 18 catches, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns next year. Somebody's got to step up at wide receiver, I think, in 2 folds this coming season, right? I think we know what we're getting from Colston Loveland. Also have the tight end transfer coming over from Indiana, A.J. Barner, who will make a big impact this year. But Michigan needs 2 things from the wide receivers themselves. Number 1, Roman Wilson or Cornelius Johnson need to step up to be a true number 1. I'm talking about 60 catches, 800 to 1,000 yards, 9 to 12 touchdowns. Can one of those guys fit that role? I think the deep passing against Ohio State, coming back, having to come back against TCU in the final game, some stuff against Purdue, I think that helped their confidence. Also, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards didn't participate in spring ball, so Michigan had nothing better to do than work on the passing game with J.J. McCarthy all spring. So who could step up, be true number one wide receiver? I think it's going to be one of those two guys if anyone does it. Then, who's going to be the wide receiver number 3? Darrius Clemons, Tyler Morris, both were true freshmen last year, and there's a bunch of true freshmen coming in this class. Can someone step up and be a true wide receiver number 3 that can get 20 to 30 catches this year? Or will Michigan have to rely on Donovan Edwards coming out of the backfield or splitting out as a wide receiver or a slot, and then having tight and heavy sets, even if it means Colson Loveland and Barner, split out as true wide receivers and are right next to the line, right next to the left or the right tackle? That's the biggest questions for me for the wide receivers this season. As I said at the top of the show, can we get 25 new subscribers? I need 25 of you. 25. If not, I'm protesting for another 60 days. 25 subscribers. Let's do it. Send it to a friend. Got to get it done today. Chris Akey says Michigan football will win the national championship this year. Make sure you guys subscribe, following us on Facebook, facebook.com/Harbaugh Go Blue. Hey, I think they're going to make the national title game. I think for me, it's Houston or bust. Pretty fun year this year. I think, Jack, geographically for us, it's pretty good. One, you get the 2 semifinals are Pasadena Rose Bowl and then Sugar Bowl New Orleans. So I think either way, it's going to be a good time for Michigan fans. You either go to Pasadena, do a little Rose Bowl action, which Michigan hasn't been to in quite a long time at this point. Going back to the 2006 season? Is that the last year Michigan was in the Rose Bowl? Or you're going to New Orleans, right? You can't have a better time, I don't think, if you're going to party than New Orleans. And then for us, it's a 3-hour drive to Houston for the national championship game. With all this talent, back-to-back losses in the College Football Playoff. 2021, okay, Georgia, whatever, we get it. That loss to TCU is brutal. I don't think Michigan can rest on the laurels. I hope they're not. But anything less to making the national championship game. I'm not saying they have to win it. Making the national championship game will feel like a disappointment, but no matter what, I'm going to soak in this entire season because I think it'll be one that we will remember for years and years to come. Tim Baker says, glad to have you back, Tim. Thank you. Glad to be back. Go Blue, Bosa all day. And he's echoing what we just said there. Houston or bust. And as always, guys, beat Ohio State again. It's going for 3 straight years. You might not know this, Jack. You guys, Ohio State, it's been a decade, last decade, 2019, since Ohio State has beat Michigan. So make sure, as always, you guys are typing Bosa in the comments here on the Michigan Football Report. Get down there in the comments. Make sure you guys let everybody know that you are part of the movement. It was started January of 2020. Michigan has not lost to Ohio State since. It's been 3.5 years. Type Bosa down in the comments. We are going to have more Michigan football videos for you. I'll be back with a video on Friday. Probably have another video out on this weekend as well. Until then, go Blue.